So what does it look like to be a 91 Charlie utilities equipment repairman? Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Tattooed Chap here. Most of the stuff on my channel is me talking about being an Army chaplain, but I thought I'd share some wisdom with you because when I first joined the Army back in 2006, I joined as a 91 Charlie. It used to be a 52 Charlie back then, which is the utilities equipment repairman. And what that job is basically the job of you working on HVAC, heating and air conditioning. I want to give you some of the insights to this job, some of the pros and cons to it that I experienced, so that maybe you can decide if this is the job for you. The 91 Charlie Utilities Equipment Repairman is an HVAC technician basically for the Army. You working on the different HVAC systems that the military has. It comes down to two different types of HVAC systems, but the two HVAC systems are in like our vehicles that keep the vehicles cool. So it's kind of more of a mechanic type situation. And then you have these boxed units that we take to the field with us that are there to keep our tents and different types of containers cool. So those are your two basic areas. There's also some refrigeration for different types of refrigeration boxes as well. And so what you'll be trained in is in how to repair those systems. When you go through your AIT, your Advanced Individual Training, one of the things that you'll earn, because it's a requirement, your type 1 and type 2 and perhaps your type 3 refrigeration license. So that way when you do get out of the military, you can actually go get a job as an HVAC technician, earn some decent money doing that if that's something that you like to do. But what does it look like when you're actually doing the job? When you get to your unit, you'll most likely be assigned to a motor pool, and you'll be the person that's in charge of working on all the HVAC that your unit has. Now, I was in one unit that had only a few HVAC systems, and so what I ended up doing after that was cross-training with 91 Deltas, which are the generator mechanics, and they work on the generators that we use when we take to the field. And then I also cross-trained with the 91 Bravos, which is the light wheel mechanic, and I worked on the different trucks that we had in the military. And so I got to do a lot of different types of mechanic stuff because we only had a few HVAC units. When I got to my second job, my second assignment, we had a ton of HVAC units. We had a ton of vehicles that had boxes on the back where people would work out of these big container boxes, and each one of those had an HVAC system. I think we had 50 different HVAC systems plus the vehicles, and so I was the only HVAC guy there, so I was doing HVAC all the time. You know, depending on what kind of unit you're in, you might have a lot of HVAC that you're working on, you might not have a whole lot. And depending on what unit, you might do more cross-training, you might not do as much cross-training with these other types of mechanic stuff. But you are a part of the mechanic shop, part of the motor pool, and you're doing the maintenance to keep whatever unit you're in running. Now, one of the cool things about this job is if you really like the mechanic stuff, as you move up in rank, you could become a warrant officer, which kind of supervises the motor pool. So there are opportunities like that as well. And if you decide to get out early, not make it a career, you do have that type 1 and type 2 certification, maybe type 3 if you test well enough, and you can take that on the civilian side and get a job as an HVAC technician. Not all the mechanic jobs that the military has of the different types come with those kinds of certifications. That is one of the cool benefits of this job. One of the things that's kind of hard about this job is if you're in a unit that doesn't have a lot of HVAC, the thing that you joined up to do, you don't get to do a whole lot of, right? You're actually doing more light wheel mechanic stuff or generator mechanic stuff, and that can be a little frustrating at times. One of the other things that's sometimes frustrating in the military is motor pool life. What I mean by that is maintenance always needs to be done. Oftentimes the people that are staying behind working the longest are the people in the motor pool, and they don't get enough props for that, and it's hard sometimes, but that's one of the aspects of being a mechanic. It's not always the case in every unit, but you have to expect that there may be some long nights because you have to get certain maintenance done by a certain time. So that's a little bit about the 91 Charlie. Hopefully that helps you guys in making your decisions on whether or not to be a Charlie or something else. So if you decide to become a Charlie, welcome to the team. If not, there's another MOS out there. And hopefully this was helpful for you in deciding which job is best for you in the Army. If this was helpful for you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye.